Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of equations and inequalities. This is standard 7.11a in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 34 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we need to find a solution for this equation, and if we wanted to, right, what we could do is we can just take 4, 8, 16, and 32. We could plug it in here, and we could see which one works, and we'll do that to kind of check our answer. But let's see how we can solve this by isolating the variable. So one thing we need to notice, right, when I say isolate the variable, I'm wanting to get x all by itself. And so what we're doing is we are using a reverse PEMDAS in order to isolate that variable, right? So we've got the parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, right? First, we're going to go from the bottom up, right? So the easiest to get rid of are going to be anything that are connected with this addition or subtraction. And so I'm looking at this 4, I'm looking at this -8, right? Because that's just a +4, that's just a -8 or a -8. And so those are easy to get rid of. I could do this in one step, or I could do this in 2 steps. Let's go ahead and combine these so I could do it in one step. Because if not, I'd have to subtract 4 and then add 8 to both sides to kind of get that to go away. What I really have is I want to move those. I have a 4 minus 8 plus 1/2 x equals 12. I just move that over there using, right, the commutative property. I can just switch the order. So 4 minus 8 is really -4. And so I need to combine those two terms. I can't combine the 1/2 x because this has got an x in the term, so that's going to be different. But this is just a coefficient. It's just a plain number with no variable. So how do I get rid of that -4? Well, I add 4 to both sides. That's going to be the inverse operation, so that's going to take care of that. So now what I have is 1/2 x equals 16. Now, this might be a little bit new for some of you, because typically what you have is you'll have like a 2x or a 10x or something, and you end up dividing both sides by that coefficient. Remember, the goal is to isolate this x, right? And the way to do that is you want to get this coefficient to turn into 1. Because if I can get this to turn into 1, then it basically goes away, right? If I say I have y plus z, really it's a 1y plus 1z, but we don't really put 1 as a coefficient. It's just assumed. That's what I want this 1/2 to turn into, a 1. So what can I multiply by that to get to a 1? Well, if I've got a half, right, how many halves does it take to get a whole? Well, I need 2. So watch this. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Because what ends up happening is I can also look at it as the reciprocal, right? So 1/2, if I flip it upside down, becomes 2 over 1. Whenever you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, it goes back to 1. So this just ends up becoming 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. So now I've just got the x equals, and 16 times 2 is 32. So let's plug it back in to double check. 4 plus 1/2, there's my x. So I'm going to make that 32 minus 8 equals 12. Let's just go ahead and do this first, right? 1/2 of 32 is going to be 16. So really I'm looking at 4 plus 16 minus 8 equals 12. And I can, simplify this in any order I want to, right? I'm going to do 4 plus 16 minus 8. I'm going to make that 12. And that's my question. Is 4 plus 8 equal 12? Absolutely, because 4 plus 8 is 12, and 12 equals 12. So we are good there. So the trick here is when you get down to this 1/2 x, remember, you take that coefficient, right, and you flip it. You flip it upside down, and it becomes 2 over 1, and that cancels out, right? And then you just get a 1x. So that's our answer, x equal 32.